All systems are go. Check this out. It's attack.
Hey, this is DJ Frankus, and you're watching DJ Mikey Mike in direct sound.
You're now rocking with DJ Mikey Mike.
And it goes a little something like this.
Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Good to see you. Huge crowd we have here. You might want to scoot up. You'll get nice and close with the Nimbus here, and we'll make it personal. I know the shop floor is open up here really quick here, so we're kind of competing with that, but we have some really cool stuff to cover. I'll try to make it as quick as possible because I know you want to get down to the show floor, but hey, there's some great stuff that we can do here, and we have a lot of things to cover. How many people here have a Nimbus already? Nimbus already? How many people are getting ready to purchase a Nimbus? Probably here at the show. Okay, well, I'll show you some tips and tricks on. Hey, Alan, can you turn this down just a tiny bit? Down. It's just feeding back a little bit. I'll show you some tips and tricks on what's important about a Nimbus, and we'll go from there. So things we're going to cover: what you're going to need, the types of foggers that are out there. Okay. Dry ice handling and transport safety. Oh my God, there's transport safety involved. We got to think about these kind of things. Now, things you might not think about. Okay, I'm not trying to scare you by any means. This is a totally safe atmospheric effect that we can use, but you need to know the rules and laws. We'll talk about that. Types of dry ice. Everybody's seen dry ice before. Comes in big chunks, right? You've seen those. They also come in pellet form. We'll talk about that. Types of coolers. You need to know how to transport this. It's real important. You don't want to end up with dry ice all over the floor or in the back of your car and you can't even make it to the venue. That's important. Client and guest safety. Wow, I got to think about all this stuff. We're just talking about a little low-lying cloud effect, right? Fire alarms. Who wants to set the fire alarm off, right? Not me. Can this happen? We'll talk about it. All right. Power management is really important. These things draw a lot of current. It's really important that we talk about power management. Venue management, lighting, pictures, and the big important thing is how I can make money with this. Dancing on a little money out here. It's real important. That's great. All right. And then we're going to see the Nimbus in action. Alan's going to help me out with that. And actually, you guys can help me out. I might need some special dancers out here on the dance floor so I can show you actually how the Nimbus can kind of engulf the dancers on the floor and different ways to do different styles of fog effects. So we'll do that as well. All right. So what you're going to need? Hey, well, first we're going to need a Nimbus, right? We definitely have to have the Nimbus. It's the best one out there. A dry ice supplier. Now, it's real important. Before you rush out to purchase your Nimbus, make sure you can get ice available in your area. Okay? Sometimes you can get it right down the street. Other times, I know people that have to drive 2, 3, and 4 hours to get their low-lying ice effects. So it's important that you know where these things are so you can charge accordingly. Okay? So if it's not readily available in your area, but you really want this effect because it's amazing, and believe me when I say it's amazing, it is amazing. Okay? But you need to know if you can get ice available for you, when it's available. All right, you're going to need an ice scooper. Oh man, I got an ice scooper? What's up with that? Hey, you just can't scoop it out with your hands and put it in the Nimbus. We need a nice sturdy ice scooper as well. Something from Walmart. We need to go to Smart and Final or somewhere like that. Pick us a nice, good industrial ice scooper. Some gloves, so we can look like a boxing ring out here on the dance floor when we're putting it out there. Need some gloves, right? To keep your hands protected. We need a nice rolling cart. As you can see, Chauvet has a beautiful rolling cart that they produced, and I'll show you ways to do it from scratch as well. And a cooler or a scrim. If you guys can see back here, we got the cooler in the back right here. I have it uncovered for a reason. Okay, if you guys can see it, it's kind of hidden in the back. It's a little blue cooler. Okay, how many people want to see my 6-pack of beer in my cooler by my DJ booth, right? Because that's the first thing they're going to think of is the DJ is getting loaded back by there, right? So, well, it might be my cooler of beer, but you never know. All right, and then the biggest thing is to practice. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Practice, practice, practice. Don't grab your Nimbus, break it out of the box, and then go to your event. You know, I got my ice, I got my Nimbus. Oh, what else do I need? I need water, I need all kinds of fun stuff, right? So we're gonna cover those things, all right? There's all kinds of different dry icers and dry ice effects out there. There's low-lying fog effects, okay? There's a big difference between a low-lying cloud effect and a low-lying fog effect. A low-lying fog effect can be produced with a CO2 chiller, okay? Everybody's seen those giant welding gas bottles that are about this tall. Okay, they have CO2 in them, and then you got to add a cable or a hose, and you go to a chiller box, which costs about $2,500, and then you put a fogger behind it, and then you shoot that into there, and then it creates a low-lying cloud effect with a super chilled fog. And what does that fog do after it warms up? Goes up. And then what happens to the fire alarms?
Go up.
Damn it, that's bad. Everybody agrees, if the fire alarms go off in your building, it is bad.
Yep.
And what do we try to do? Avoid bad, right? We want to always avoid bad, because bad is bad, and we try to avoid bad. Okay, so that's real important. So, the CO2 chiller fog machine style, how many people have looked a low-lying fog or low-lying cloud effect on Google or YouTube and saw the little cooler with the ice in it and a hole on one side and a hole on the other side, and you put the fogger in and it goes through? Okay? Well, you can do it. But now I got to have a cord, and I got to plug it in, I got to put it close to the dance floor, and then I have to shoot the fog in there, and now I'm stuck here, and I got the big ugly cooler on there. Oh no, I painted it black, it looks really good. Really sexy, right? All right, so there's another option. And then I'm using fog again, and then what's going to happen? It's going to go up, and then the fire alarm's going to go off, and what's going to happen?
Fire sprinklers will go off.
No, negative. That doesn't happen. That's only in Hollywood. Only in Hollywood. Only in Hollywood. If the fire sprinkler, okay, if the alarms go off, usually the fire sprinklers are not going to go off unless the fire is directly over the sprinkler head and the little fusible link blows. Okay, and then what's going to happen? All the sprinklers are going to go off, right? No, just that sprinkler right there. So you have your little handy dandy wedge, little wedge kit, right? You grab the wedge and you hit the thing in there and you turn off the water. You save the day. Unless there's an actual fire, then you run like hell. And we yell, fire, fire, fire. We don't want to do that. The next thing is what I used to do back in the 70s and 80s. And I had my own little do-it-from-scratch fogger. It's right here. It's a picture of it. It's a 55-gallon drum, okay, with 2 water cooler heaters on the bottom, okay, and then a water pump and a fan that blows air into the 55-gallon drum. The water would heat up with the heaters, and there's a little water pump that had a basket inside. I put the dry ice in the basket, and the water would fall on top of it and hit the ice, and then I turned on the fan, and it would blow low-lying cloud on the ground. It looked amazing. Until the 3rd or 4th time I brought it out to the venue, and that ice and that steel drum was rusting, and I started getting rust through, and now I have trails of water all over the place, and I have rust, and I have rust stains on their white carpet, and I have this 55-gallon drum and one of those trash can little dollies that I get in it. Not so sexy at a wedding. Cool for a rave in the backyard or something like that, Halloween, hey, you know. But the cost to build that thing is not that cheap, okay? Do it from scratch style, okay? Spend your money appropriately. Know when you need to spend the money in the right way, okay? There's also something, the old school, probably the last 20 years, LeMaitre had something called the P Super. Okay, it looks very similar to the Nimbus. Okay, and it's been around for a long time. It's a good fog machine. Okay, it's very similar in shape, size. Okay, but there's issues with it. Okay, now the issues are it doesn't have a temperature sensor on there, so it can boil the water. Okay, so boiling water and dry ice creates a violent reaction, which will allow that water to just flame onto the dance floor. And what do you have now is a swimming pool. And a swimming pool at a wedding might be fun, but we would consider that bad in most venues, correct? And we try to do what? Avoid bad, right? Because bad is bad. Then they have the Ultratech. Okay, that's the Ultratech dry icer. Same issue, same manufacturer. They kind of split off. One's a European manufacturer, and the other one is now a Canadian manufacturer. What was good about these 2 particular machines, okay, was nobody could get them. They were real hard to find, which was good for me because I had one. And I was the only person in my area to be able to do low-lying cloud effects, okay? So I made a lot of money. Now it's becoming a little more easier and user-friendly to get them. So just like a regular fog machine, if we don't do it correctly, and we have moisture on the floor and don't do it the way it should be done in practice, we might not be using it. So I'll have a $1,000 piece of machinery here that I cannot use at an event. And we want to avoid that, right? That would be bad, you know. So the best, and I've used them all, and I've created them all, okay, is the Nimbus. Hands down is the best. There's some great features to the Nimbus, okay? It has dual heating elements. It has dual heating elements. It has dual heating elements. So it can create quick hot water quickly, okay? The effect lasts between 2 to 8 minutes. It's just for a moment. And Randy Bartlett was talking about making moments earlier. We want to capture that moment and make a wow moment. And I'll show you some pictures in a little while about wow moments. Okay? It lasts about 2 to 8 minutes, okay, approximately. And we're going to show you one way it lasts 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll show you another way with a different fogger on the side for the second run how it can last 10 or 15 minutes. Just depends on how you use your fogger and what look you're trying to create. Okay, on average, the way we're going to try to use it for a first dance or a grand entrance, about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, the average heat up time for this, and most people, how many people have just normal wedding venues out there? They're not industrial style, just a normal banquet hall. Usually they have about 15 amp breakers on the walls, right? Okay, along with the coffee pots and everything else plugged into them, right? Okay, so we'll talk about power management in a second. It takes about 30 minutes to heat up if you're using the double heating elements. Quick, it'll do it quickly. Okay, I'll show you ways to create different looks with that. It's real important. So we talked about ice earlier. So there's 2 different styles of ice. Okay, there's 2 different styles. We have the pellet style, kind of looks like your little finger, little pellets about the size of your little finger. And then we have the blocks. And if you use the pellet style, all you need is a cool ice scooper and a cooler. Hey, nice, right? Ice scooper, cooler. How cool is that? If you purchase the block style, it might be the only thing available in your area. So you might not have any other options. Still makes an amazing effect, okay, if done correctly, right? But you need a cooler. You need an ice scooper. You need a hammer. I need a hammer? I need a burlap sack, because we're having burlap races later, right? Because what happens if I take a hammer and I hit it on the paper bag that the ice came in? Bag's gonna rip. And then where's the ice gonna go? And that is what? Bad. That is bad. And we try to do what?
Avoid bad.
Avoid bad. Okay, so we got a burlap sack. Then what? We need more time, because we got to break it up. Okay, and where am I going to do it? Out back, out front, in my car? Okay, you might live in a cold area. It might be snow out there. Can I hit it on the snow? I don't know what, so be careful. All right? And also, somebody asked earlier about the ice powder issues. If you use a block, and you take your hammer and you bust up that big block of ice, what happens? Did you ask me earlier? And what happens to your ice?
It just turns into powder, and then you put it in the machine, and it's just over like
Gone, right? Immediate, quick fog, but it's gone, right?
It
Instantly.
doesn't even last 2 minutes.
Doesn't last 2 minutes. Not that there is an issue, but now you're here, you're getting educated, you're little edutainment, right? Little edutainment. So, ice powder is an issue, okay? There's ways to get around the ice powder. Okay? Well, you're going to get ice powder. Most times you're going to get ice powder. With pellets, not so much. Sometimes yes, but most of the time no. With the blocks, when you bust the ice up, it's going to get into fine particulates, okay? You can take your time. You can do this at home before you get there and place it in your cooler, okay? You can take your gloves. Loose-fitting gloves are always best because ice is very cold. We'll talk about that in a second, but ice is cold. Take that ice that you broke up and take the big clumps and put it into your cooler. You might go through a little bit more ice, but the effect is going to look a lot better. You're not going to prematurely cool your water or have an effect that you're not ready for at any given time. Okay, so that'll help with the ice powder issues. It's real important. All right, dry ice. It's negative 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's cold. That's damn cold. All right. So we talked about PPE. You know what PPE is? Personal protective equipment. Okay, gloves. Okay, we want to keep yourself safe, right? Because you don't want to not be able to grab your microphone later because your fingers just fell off, right? That would be bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to avoid that.
If we want to avoid bad at all costs, okay? So negative 109, cold. All right. So use gloves to protect yourself from frostbite. The best kind of gloves to use, okay? This is what the manufacturer recommends, okay? And if you read anybody know what an MSDS is? Material Data Safety Sheet, or now it's called the SDS, the Safety Data Sheet, right? Because of global harmonization. Ooh, cool, right? It says use loose-fitting gloves. Why would I want to use loose-fitting gloves?
More insulation, actually.
More insulation, or if I start freezing my fingers, I can get them off quickly.
Right.
Okay, so no ice back on my hands, and I can warm up faster. What I use either gaff kind of gloves or like mechanic style gloves. That's what I use. As long as you don't leave the scooper in the cooler, you'll be just fine. You won't need to go with the loose fitting gloves. But know what the manufacturers recommend for the particular ice you use, right? Use a sturdy ice scooper. Okay, so when you go to transition the ice from look at this scooper right here. Scooper. Nice. Do that with a plastic scooper. What do we have? We have blue confetti all over the place, right? That would be bad. Okay, use a good solid scooper. It's real important. Don't leave it in the cooler. I've done it. several times on accident. You're in a hurry, you're in a rush. Oh, let me just put this here. I'll just take it there for a second. I go to do my first dance, and I'm like, where's my scooper? Where's my scoop? Oh my gosh, it's inside the cooler. So there you go. Now I'm getting frostbite, yes, but I'm still going to do the effect because I'm a trooper, right? So we got to remember that. Okay. Non-locking, sturdy cooler. You see that cooler? No lock. Okay. If you use a locking cooler, it can go boom. Boom would be bad at a wedding, unless you're doing some kind of confetti or something like that. Boom is usually bad, especially when it comes to an enclosed cooler. Okay. Or what's going to happen is you're going to have a million pieces all over the floor, just like your ice scooper, right? We want to avoid that. Also, I don't know if anybody's told you, but this is an atmospheric effect. It is actually a cloud. And has anybody ever gone through the mountains or gone through the mountains and clouds? What happens to your windshield? Gets fogged up, gets wet, right? Moisture. Okay? Not a lot of moisture. Not like it's raining. There's a little bit of moisture. Okay? We got to be prepared for that. It's not a problem if we're prepared. Okay? So practice is important. Okay? So moisture may develop. So we want to have towels available or a dry mop, not a wet mop like, oh, we're going to mop the floor. No, a dry mop or some towels. And usually towels are quick and easy. Nice fluffy little white towels, looks clean, set off to the side. Okay, so we'll be prepared for that. We talked about coolers, right? Styrofoam coolers. How many people have a styrofoam cooler at home? Great, I'm going to get my ice. Got my styrofoam cooler. Not such a good idea. Okay? Think about it. If you didn't know, you just go get a cooler from, you're at Albertsons and that's where you picked up your ice at, right? Got a styrofoam cooler. It was $4.99. Hey, cool. Got my ice. Next thing you know, put it in the back of my car. Breaks. Now I have ice all in the back of my car. I don't have my gloves. What am I going to do? That's not good. Latching cooler. Avoid at all costs. Unless you take the latch off. Okay, they're good, sturdy, stainless steel Coleman coolers are nice. They look good, right? As soon as you make that latch, that thing's going to off gas. Okay, it's going to start evaporating. Okay, it's going to change from a solid to a gas. It's going to create pressure, and that can go boom. I heard stories that people blew up the back of their cars or vans because they enclosed their ice. I'm not trying to scare you, just trying to make you aware, okay? That's what you're here for. You guys are smart. You're coming to learn this before you actually have to learn this in the field. Trial and error is no good when it comes to these things, okay? Plastic cooler with wheels. Here you see one right there. Almost the same, identical cooler right there. Costs about $30-40 at your Home Depot or your Walmart. Highly suggest wheels instead of trying to lug 30 to 50 pounds of dry ice to your event, okay? Also, a couple things with coolers. When you open a cooler and you get the one with hinges on the side, they're usually little plastic hinges, right? And the door opens sideways. Those plastic hinges will break. This stuff is super cold. It is super thin plastic. All of a sudden now I have an exposed cooler, or my cooler lid just went flying across the room. Replace that with a webbing style material. If that's the cooler, you might have one at home already, okay? Also, when you open that lid, it's gonna go, because the plastic is like, I don't wanna be in here, right? Okay? Webbing, great fix. Also, the little hinge pieces, a little silicone lube will make them quiet, okay? Because the last thing you wanna do is right before the first dance, and everything's quiet, and you're back here going, what the? We're a bunch of crows in the back, right? It's great for Halloween. Well, depends where you're using your low-lying cloud effect, right? So it's important. So make sure you have your cooler already prepped. You're going to know this because when you go to your garage or wherever you practice this at, you're going to go, oh yeah, that's where that crazy sound came from because Mikey Mike said so, right? This is this little flippy lid right here. Easy, no sound, no craziness. The side one's a little tougher, okay? This is starting to get cold already, okay? Sitting it just on top of the cooler, okay? So if you're like me and happen to forget things from time to time, and you forgot your gloves, okay, and you go to grab this off the cooler, and it's been over there for the last 3 hours because we're doing the first dance after dinner, might be a little cold for your fingers, might not get the grip that you need, okay, so set it off to the side, usually hide it. We'll talk about scrimming in a few minutes. Okay, so biggest thing, styrofoam coolers, no bueno, right? Stainless steel coolers are good, yes?
Bad.
Bad. They go what? Boom. Boom is bad, and we try to do what? Avoid bad. Okay, that's not good. If you take off the latch, you can probably use it. Okay, it doesn't seal that tightly. It has enough to build pressure, it'll off-gas it a little bit, so just remember that.
Would it be enough to pull the back plug on the back side?
Possibly, but there is moisture in there, and if you start getting moisture, it's going to create a cloud itself inside, and it could create ice, and ice could block that, okay? Just know that, okay? But that's a good question, okay? That's a good question. Or if you are going to use something similar to that, install a pressure relief valve on top, so it always has a way to do it, okay? So you can definitely use it, but my recommendation is, yeah, I've been using my plastic cooler for probably, the one I have now, probably for 3 or 4 years, probably because the other one, I don't know, it got dirty or I don't know what happened to it. And I haven't had any issues with it. Besides the hinges breaking and things like that, like I discussed, have no issues. Okay, so nice rolling cooler wheels, awesome, okay? So we talked about, where do I get my dry ice? Okay, how much does it cost? Okay, how much does dry ice cost? Typically, dry ice costs anywhere from 50 cents to $1.75 a pound, okay? How much am I gonna need to do one first dance? Anybody know? About 10 pounds? Okay, approximately 10 pounds. Yes, you in the back, sir.
2 pounds.
2 pounds. I only need 2 pounds. Okay, do you want a little first dance? Right? About 10 pounds. Usually about 10 pounds is about right. Okay, and that's about 6 or 7 scoops of the little scooper to fill up that basket. Okay, because we'll talk about filling up the basket in a second and how it might be a little difficult and we need to practice. All right, 50 cents. Get an account, okay, at your local, well, where I get mine, I get it from a local gas and welding distributor. Okay, I use Prax Air, and there's Air Gas. There's probably several different ones in your local area. Call them up. Not every location has ice available due to the way they transport it and the, they start out with 500 pounds and they end up getting there, it's like got that 30 pounds left, it might not be cost effective for them, okay? So, distributors, like ice cream distributors, they use dry ice all the time, okay? You guys, everybody heard a little ice cream truck driving by their house, right? Good chance that they're using dry ice in their trucks, okay? Check with them. Might be able to purchase, might be more, might be $3 a pound.
And Baskin Robbins charges $2.29 a pound.
$2.29 a pound of Baskin Robbins. Very good. Good input. Okay? But it's available, right?
Yes.
Or it might be
only in brick.
Only in brick, but it might be if you maybe pre-order it. Hey, you think I can get 30 pounds of dry ice blocks next week? So, oh no, this is all we have for our ice cream. Be careful. So welding distributors, ice distributors, ice cream distributors. Also grocery stores, okay? Albertsons, you have Albertsons in your area? Some of you maybe yes, no? Okay, they might have an offshoot of Albertsons in your area, but they also work with Prax Air, which uses Penguin brand dry ice, okay? And I'm just throwing that out there because they have a cool website to be able to find dry ice in your area where Penguin delivers. And they use, I think, Air Gas to deliver for Penguin dry ice.
Walmart.
There's a website right there. It says dryiceIdeas.com. Okay, you can jot that down, take a picture of it. dryiceIdeas.com, and the reason the map is there is when you log into that website, it allows you to click on your area and try to find dry ice in your local area. Okay, might not be available, but another resource for you. I would try gas distributors at first. Get an account, you're probably going to get the cheapest price. If I roll in off the street to my gas distributor, it's going to be like $1 a pound. Since I have an account, it's 50 cents. So it's cheap. So for me, I can fill up a cooler like this for $15 or $20, and this will last me all night. So this is about 60, 70 pounds of dry ice if it's full to the top. Okay? Probably a good sized bag of dog food, right? Okay? So, ideas to get dry ice. Make sure it's available in your area. Guest safety, client safety. Okay? It's important that we know how our effects work. Just like a regular fog machine, if you lay it down by the dance floor, what usually comes out of a regular fog machine? Besides fog.
Moisture.
No, regular fog machine. Regular fog machine. Like a juice. You get juice. And juice is made out of what?
Vegetable oil.
Kind of like oily-based product, right? Kind of something similar to that. And some of them are, okay? It might be a water-soluble one, but it gets a little slippery. Kind of like bubble machine, bubble fluid stuff, right? And next to the dance floor might be a bad idea. Okay, so same thing with a low-lying cloud effect. We already discussed clouds are made of what? Moisture. And moisture is what? Turns into like kind of water, right? And water on the dance floor when people are dancing could be what? Bad, right? So we try to avoid that bad by knowing that it actually can happen. How many people have ever walked on a kitchen floor and it's wet? Everybody? Do you walk different on a kitchen floor when it's wet than you do when it's dry?
Yeah.
If you don't know, what's going to happen? Woo! Right? I'm gonna fall on my ass every time. Guaranteed. If I don't know it's wet and I hit that kitchen floor, I'm gonna pack it. Guaranteed. Same with ice, right? You know, I'm not from a really cold area. Well, it might be super cold in Southern California, but that's just me. All right? It was 70 at my house. I was freezing. No, it's not like Florida, where Florida is nice, cozy there.
Not this year.
Except in July.
Not this year.
Okay, so moisture. The floors may get slippery. So during your bridal consultations, and these brides, they're going to be fascinated with dancing on a cloud. They're going to want it for their wedding. You're going to want to bring it because it makes you look amazing. Okay, the pictures are beautiful. It is a wow moment. Nothing sells better than that wow moment. And believe me, you are going to make $1 million by using a low-lying cloud effect if you do it correctly. Okay, but if you let your clients know, hey, the floor may be a little moist. I'm not talking water all over the place. Okay, if done correctly, but it could be moist. If they're prepared for it, and we all have our clients practice their first dance before the dance, right? We tell them, hey, 6 months out or 3 months out, I want you to practice your first dance. Why? Why do I want you to practice? Well, maybe you look like a fool, right? But hey, maybe I want to be all macho and I want to dip my wife for my first dance. And all of a sudden, I can't hold her up, right? Boom! What happens to the back of her head? On the floor. Would be bad, right?
Right.
Well, if we practice about 3 months beforehand, she has time to heal. And during your first dance, you may not dip your wife. Okay, you might choose to opt out of that option because you just started out physically capable, or you don't have that cool dance move. Right? Suave move, it just didn't work. So practice your first dance. It's very important. Okay. Also, if they're practicing their first dance, make sure they're practicing in their high heels, or if that's what they plan on wearing, or their cons, or their dress shoes. And the surface of the dance floor, like they probably are going to dance floor at their wedding venue. Okay? If it's going to be a marble floor, hey, practice your dance in the kitchen. If that's kind of marbly like what you might see, right? If they're going to dance on a carpeted lobby area, then practice like that. Because maybe their heels get stuck in the carpet and they can't do the spin that they were going to do. Same thing with the dance floor. Okay? Know that it might be a little moist. So first, make sure you're in the right shoes that you're dancing with. It's very important. Okay? Educate your clients. If they're prepared for this, everything's going to go off seamlessly. Okay? How many people have done a first dance or a father-daughter dance, and I do father-daughter dances with my low-lying cloud effects all the time. Okay? How many people invite the rest of the fathers and daughters out to the dance floor to dance with the father and daughter that's on the floor?
I do.
Yep. Okay? Are they prepared?
No.
Okay. That could be bad, right? Especially if they're not prepared, there's a little moisture on the floor. So how we gauge that is we talk to our clients, we give them a little heads up, okay? And we say, hey, during our first dance, if I notice any moisture on the floor, we're going to opt out of the father-daughter thing because bringing everybody on the floor. Or if it's important to you, we'll still bring them on the floor, but we're not going to do low-lying cloud effect. Okay? So it's real important. Education is important. Your clients are going to perceive you as the expert because you know exactly how that effect's going to treat them. The venue is going to be super happy because they don't have to rush anybody to the hospital. And big red lights out in front of their venue looks what? Bad. Okay, so we want to avoid that. Okay, and it's simple to avoid. It's very simple. Okay, anything you do, just a little planning, a little practice. Right? Kid safety. We talk about open dancing with the father-daughter, or even open dancing. You already checked it out during the first dance. You know that the room's the temperature and the moisture level and everything jives. It's miraculous. We do the low-lying cloud effect. Everything works great. We're going to do it during open dancing, which is amazing. People get to actually dance in the cool cloud. It's awesome. Great for pictures and video. It's amazing. But if there's moisture, not such a good idea. Okay. Also, when I'm scooping this, okay, when I'm scooping dry ice out for my first dance, I'm a single owner operator. I'm doing this 35 years by myself. I have some helpers that help from time to time. But a lot of times I'm the guy pushing play, running out on the MC on the mic, and then when the first dance is going, I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, and I run back, and while they got a few minutes to dance on the dance floor with no cloud, okay, so they get some great pictures of no cloud, then I go in the back, and I open the cooler quietly, because I already prepped for that, right? And I scoop my ice. Am I just doing it like this? No? I'm going like, crap, the first dance, it's only 3 minutes long, I gotta get the ice in the cooler, right? Okay, and how many scoops? That's 1, 2, 3 scoops. How many scoops am I don't know. Okay, what's going to happen to the ice going into the cooler? Because you're panicked.
It goes everywhere.
It could go everywhere. So be prepared, and practice is important. No, count out loud. 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, and try to aim at the hole. That's where it goes in the little square thing. Once you put the ice in the hole, what's going to happen?
Don't forget to keep the lever up too.
That's important. Keep the lever of the Nimbus up. Right. Okay. So, once you start putting the ice in, those little fine particles are going to start going into the water, and it's going to create cloud. And where is the cloud going to go? It's not going to go out the front because you're not building up any pressure. It's going to come back at you. Okay, it's going to come back at you. And now what? I can't see how much ice is in the basket, and I can't see if those any little pieces of ice made it around the rim to where I can't close the lid, so I can't get the right output for my fogger. Okay? I have to close the lid, get the output to go out forward. Okay? We're trying to create pressure. And the hole creates the pressure. With gloves now, I can simply scoop that ice blindly, because I know it might be there, it might be my issue. Scoop it and just put it in the basket, close the lid nice and easy, and I go out to the dance floor. I'm going to be in a rush. I've done this for a long time. Every wedding, first dance, I'm still trying to do it, right? It might not take any longer, just go a little slower, but I just the way I am. I panic, oh my gosh, right? And you, for the first time, are going to do the same thing, guaranteed. Okay, so just know that's going to happen, and if you're prepared for it, no problem. Okay, but like I said, you're in a panic, getting scooping, going right, and I just got a little too hard, and some ice goes wandering off that way. Who else is around the dance floor by your ice?
Everybody.
Okay, so if you stage your Nimbus and your ice cooler next to the dance floor like this, and you have ice that goes around, what could happen?
Slip and touch ball.
Or little
Fingers touches.
kids can pick it up. Mommy, guess what I got? Ah! And screaming, bloody murder kids in a wedding is probably bad.
3rd-degree burn.
Right? They can get burns. So we want to try to avoid burns because burns are bad. Okay? Like I said, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to educate you. It's very important that you know these things. Okay? And God, I'm telling you, this is a beautiful effect. So know that it can go there. Have your staff. Okay? This is the only place you can do it. Have staff be ready to push it out of the way, keep everybody safe. My suggestion is keep it behind the DJ booth and get yourself a cart, okay? Because when you do it back by the wall somewhere, you simply roll it out to the area. You don't kill the buzz moment. If they see you out here scooping, they're going to start seeing cloud effects coming out, right?
Right.
And then they're going to go, And then the bride and groom are what? A couple seconds late? Oh man, I'm already ruined. It already looks cool and there's no wow moment. So make that wow moment when you come out. Okay? So keep it back. Use the carts. They're very, very, very helpful. Okay? And we'll talk about that in a second. Dry ice. God, all these nasty things. I'm trying to be all positive, but I want you to be educated. Okay? This is edutainment, so you're going to be educated. Dry ice is actually classified as a Class 9 hazardous material. Anybody know that?
No.
Okay, it is. That's okay. You can transport it safely. But you need to know the laws and rules in your area. DOT is really strictly on that. But if somebody pulls you over and you have dry ice and you have the right answers, not a problem. You have it in the proper cooler, not a problem. Something sturdy, I wouldn't go putting it in the styrofoam cooler. Not rated, right? Okay? Keep it in your car, truck, or van. Open the windows. Okay? It happened to me recently. Completely forgot about it. I did a special wedding down in the LA area, and then I had a training event in San Diego. I still had 50, 60 pounds of ice in my trunk of my car when I went down to my training event. The next day I woke up, went into my car, go to the class, and I'm sitting in my car. Something's just not quite right. Oh, I still got 70 pounds of dry ice. It dissipated, or it displaced all the oxygen in my car, and I was starting to get a little lightheaded, and I felt it. I'm like, oh, that's not good. I forgot. Just roll down the windows and keep it well ventilated. Not a problem. Every HVAC system in any venue you're going to work at is going to be plenty well ventilated, okay? You're not going to have one issue with a standard fog like this. No problem at all, okay? So don't panic. Just know it's very important. Roll down the windows. Keep it ventilated. Even if it's in the trunk of your car, it will come through the seats and things like that, and that would not be good, okay? But it's very, very important. It's, oh my gosh, it happened to me, so I want to share that with you guys. We talked about fire alarms, okay? Fire alarms. Can it set off a fire alarm?
Yeah.
Yes.
Most likely, no, not most likely. It can, but most likely no. Okay? Unless we're staging our fogger, and get to know your rooms. Okay, everybody know what a fire alarm little thing looks like?
Yeah.
And they're usually stuck against the side of the wall over here, right? But if that's the place that I was staging my Nimbus, and I put the ice in, and as soon as I close the lid, what's going to happen is a little fog is going to kind of roll up the wall a little bit. That would probably be the only time you're ever going to set off a fire alarm. So if you know that ahead of time, never going to happen. Okay? I haven't heard of a case that anybody set off a fire alarm with a Nimbus. I have never done it. Just saying it's out there. Okay? Just know that. So, fire trucks to your venue would be bad. Okay? Chilled fog, we talked about that again. So if you try to opt to go with a chilled fog machine, fog can rise, set off your fire alarms, that would be bad. So let's not do that. Get yourself a Nimbus and avoid that. Power management. They asked about power management a little bit earlier today. The Nimbus pulls 12.6 amps. So we talked about most venues have about a 15 amp circuit. So the only thing plugged into one of these circuits is a Nimbus, pretty much, and maybe one flashing light. All right, so power management is important, so you need to know that. If you're using it the way Alan has this one set up here, he's using dual heating elements. He's chose to take power from one circuit and another circuit. So if you're not a good electrician and you don't know the circuits in your area, I would go with the longer heat up time and use a hot water. It saves a lot of time during the heat up process. Okay, venue hot water is about 140, 150 degrees. Okay, so if you use a venue hot water, I've actually used venue hot water and put ice in my machine between a first dance and a father-daughter dance, and it worked perfectly. Okay, but it's always perfect to get it to the temperature. They've designed this thing to be so user-friendly with the temperature control that I never have issues. Always had issues with the other foggers that I've used in the past. Nimbus, perfect, 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 perfect.
What is the temperature?
I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Alan has
175.
175 degrees.
So if you're getting it 140, half, it's not that big. It'll save you a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Really helps. And like I said, I've done it with just hot water from the kitchen. Okay, and how do I go get my water?
Bucket?
A bucket. I get one bucket?
No, more than one.
More than one? Why? Fire brigade of buckets.
I don't know.
No,
Okay.
How much does it hold?
How much does the Nimbus hold for water?
4.5 gallons.
About 5 gallons, right? So if I go take my 5-gallon white little 5-gallon, not the orange Home Depot ones. Okay, don't go get the orange Home Depot one. Doesn't look so sexy at a wedding. Okay. Grab 2 5-gallon buckets. Fill them halfway up. If I pull one 5-gallon bucket all the way up to the top, and then I'm trying to go like this through the kitchen, and not a good thing. Okay, 2 5-gallon buckets. One is going to balance you. If I got one 5-gallon bucket like this, how hard is it to walk? If I have 2 5-gallon buckets filled up halfway, nice and easy, I'm balanced, I look like I belong there, right? I don't look like I'm retarded and get on the little bus, right? I'm serious, right? So a couple 5-gallon buckets, easy to transport your water in the venues. Some venues don't have a sink that will fit a 5-gallon bucket. You might need to bring a funnel or a hose, okay? Sometimes all the water that's available is the bathroom sink. How are you going to get a 5-gallon bucket in the bathroom sink? Happened to me.
I actually bring a smaller bucket and fill it.
Smaller bucket, coffee cup, coffee cup, coffee cup. Now 6 hours later, coffee cup, coffee pot. Okay, coffee pot, if that fits under the sink. Okay, so know these things, be prepared. Okay, do a site survey, know your venues, know what's available. Okay, sometimes the kitchen's right in the middle of dinner service. They don't want you in the kitchen. You might be out back using the garden hose. Okay, it's possible. Just be prepared.
Mike, when you fill the water, do you plug it in and then fill the water until the light comes on?
Yes.
Does that tell you that that's the exact amount of water? Because I'm afraid I'm going to put too much in if I don't do it that way.
So filling the Nimbus, the way I do my Nimbus, and once you're starting heating up the water, a little evaporation happens. Okay, I fill my Nimbus, I put the basket to the top position. Okay, I plug it in, and then I fill it up to where the water is just at the bottom of the basket. Okay, not coming through the basket. I'm not that good at gauging, right? But you can kind of see right when it comes to the basket. The light will come on green, or no, light will come on red. That means the circuit is on. The other fog machines out there also don't have a cutoff circuit. So if it overboils the water,
It goes out.
it's just overheating, and now you got this problem. Okay, if this overboils the water, that has a little plunger inside. Okay, when it gets too low, it just shuts off the machine.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you need to watch it from time to time. I've never had it in my Nimbus because of the temperature control. Get rid of water, never. So it works really well. So right to the bottom, you're good to go.
You just want to make sure you don't overfill it.
No, well, if you overfill it, what's going to happen? It's not so much bad, but when you go put the ice in, it's already reacting.
The effect's going to mute.
The effects is already going to happen when you're trying to fill the ice up.
Right.
So it's going to be a little confusing.
Right. Okay.
All right, venue management. A happy management or a good man is a happy management, right?
Yeah.
Keep your management happy. The venue, ask for permission, don't beg for forgiveness. First rule. I'll just do this, they'll never see, they'll not even know, right? It's not regular fog, right? It's not regular, it's a cloud. It's awesome, beautiful, okay? But ask for permission. Maybe schedule a time that the management can review this. Hey, we're not gonna let you do that. I have one venue that only allows me, they have a no fog policy in their contract. I'm the only one that can come in and do low line cloud effect because I actually took the time to go to the venue, show the management. I actually invited the fire department, the fire chief there. He bought off on it. So if I ever need to do it at any other venue, I got the fire department out there. I got video, and I got these other venues that say, yeah, it's amazing. He does a great job with it. He's prepared. He's ready to go. Okay. So don't forget to videotape it. It's real important. Okay, because you can show it to other venues without having to do a demo. Okay, so use that as a tool. Build relationships with your venues and your fire marshals. They're great because they got your back. And if they know that you're on top of your game, they're going to give you approval on everything. Okay, less likely give you pushback. So proper lighting. Now we get into the beauty stuff, right? I love it. So proper lighting. Chauvet has some amazing lights to light your clouds amazingly, okay? And to make your cloud pop requires some nice lighting, okay? So to do it correctly, moving heads work great, floor wash lighting looks good, okay? Even something simple as a LSF 75, just poised to the dance floor, will make an amazing effect, just like these. Okay, take great pic. How many people have a good video camera? Okay, how many people are using their iPhone or smartphone? Get a good video camera. Okay, go put it on a tripod in the back of the room, aim it towards the dance floor, hit play. Before you start your first dance, you don't even have to have a videographer to do it. I'm not a videographer, but I get some amazing videos out of my clients, especially the ones I do. Same with pictures. Get a good camera. Don't just use your iPhone. Okay, get a nice camera. Get a Canon or a Nikon or a whatever else nice cameras are out there. It's important. Or get a relationship with your photographers. But how many people ask for photographers for pictures and never get them? Okay, all the time. So at least one, if you're the photographer, and believe me, you can be mobile with this thing. I put my Canon around my neck. And you'll see that in a video I have up here in a little bit. I am in the perfect position, right behind the Nimbus, right by the bride and groom, and I can take a really cool picture, angle picture. And believe me, my photographers are drooling on some of the pictures that I've taken, and I'm definitely not a professional photographer. But almost everybody can hold down the button, and you're going to get one good picture out of 1,000, right? And you can do that in 1.2 seconds. Highly suggest you do that. Now, you don't want to take that away from doing the effect, okay? I look a little funky sometimes. I totally agree, but I have no other options. But I can sell this to my clients as well. Okay? So here's the Nimbus in action a little bit. This is about a 20-foot dance floor, okay? The bride and groom are dancing here. Nice puff of smoke on the beginning. This is a little bit of edited video. You'll see it go away, but you see the fogger go away as well. Sorry about that quick video. But remember we talked about, we train our clients to dance. He wanted to dip his wife. He already knew ahead of time that he could do that, okay? He's prepared. Quick lighting cues, we can change it from wash lighting to atmosphere or to event lighting, right?
Is that the Hellenic Center?
That is the Hellenic Center, whoever said that. Oh, yeah, that is the Hellenic Center. Okay? Really pretty, makes the bride and groom look. DMX control gives you control over your lighting, okay? It's real important. This is another venue. Photographer all of a sudden sat in front of my fog machine right when I did it. And
She's going like
she's like, oh my gosh, right? But she was off to the side when I started. But here I am taking pictures.
She was right in front of you. Yeah.
Okay? This is during the day. You see the bright lights out there. If I didn't have wash lighting or effect lighting, it would not look as good. It gives me the ability. This is where I asked all the audience to come out for the first dance. So I already knew, because I know the venue, and I know how it acts in that particular venue and where I can be, that it's safe enough to do that in that particular venue. In 1.2 seconds, I had the dance floor completely packed and they're doing a low-line cloud effect. Completely safe, 100% safe. Because I know my venues and I know how my fog machine acts, or my low-line cloud effect acts. I stay back off the dance floor. Okay, a little bit further. See how high? Over her head. I can get dramatic looks with this. Dramatic looks. But the HVAC system in this building is very, very strong, and I don't have control over it. So having a cart is very important, okay? I'm able to go across the dance floor, and if you watch the fog, it's going to start blowing backwards. You see it blowing backwards right there? It's not going towards the bride and groom.
I've had that problem.
Okay, so you need to know that. So with a cart, you can get it to the position that you need to do the best effect. It's a 20 by 20 foot dance floor. It's huge. Okay, you might need to move. You want the photographer to get the best picture, but that initial burst of fog is where you talk to your photographer and you tell him what's going to happen so he's prepared to get that awesome shot. Because that's what the client is going to want, that awesome, amazing shot. Okay, same with here. Big burst of cloud going up onto the client, right up to their shoulders. We put some wash lighting onto the dance floor. And I'm using an iPad right on top of my Nimbus. It fits perfectly right on the Nimbus. And I'm using Show Express with a wireless control. Okay? I have to control the lights. So I'm wirelessly cruising around because the thing's not plugged in, because you don't have to have it plugged in once it's warm. Now I'm doing beautiful wash lighting on the floor. I'm moving around the dance floor, and I'm controlling the lighting. Right there, I just changed the lighting cue to a white light. Now I choose to use wash lighting instead of spot lighting. Because if you ask any photographer, and you see a picture with a moving head stuck on a bride and groom, and they have that big harsh line that's cutting them in half, okay, if you soften that up and make it look elegant with wash or frost, it's going to look a lot prettier. Okay, so most of the pictures you'll see, probably all the pictures you see, is more of a wash effect than a sharp hard line effect, and that's due to communicating with my photographers to see what works for them.
So what kind of wash lights are you using?
So here, I'll tell you a second. So here I'm taking pictures again. I'm in the perfect spot to take pictures. I do it myself, single owner operator. I got to do what I can do, right? I'm moving around, and right here, I want to change. Hit the iPad, boom. I just controlled my dance floor with lighting, and I'm already playing music. I'm ready to go. Want to change the lighting control again? Simply hit my iPad on top of my Nimbus. Alan created this beautiful spot for it right there. It works perfect. It's awesome. It's beautiful, right? So I can make the dance floor look amazing with simple lighting control and DMX control. Really going to get you to the next level. Notice the output of the Nimbus is not really coming out that hard, because this is about 2 or 3 minutes into the effect, because I choose to get a big burst at the beginning and not a small burst all the way across the time frame. Okay, there's other ways to lengthen, depends on your client and what they want or what look they want. Okay, beautiful, elegant looks. Soft lighting really pops that cloud. You notice the look of the white cloud, and then it's kind of grayish dark. It gives you contrast. It looks beautiful in pictures. Okay, so lighting is really important. Get yourself some movers, some wash lighting, something simple as an LSF75 to point towards the dance floor. Even the pin spots with a small gel aiming towards the dance floor with a breakup gel, just enough to highlight that cloud effect. It's going to look amazing. All right, beautiful wash, gumbo projection in the back room with breakup patterns. Okay, does that bride look happy? She does. That was a moment. She's going to remember that for the rest of her life. And every time she opens that wedding album, she's going to go, oh, that was so beautiful. I love that effect, right? It's really, really important. This is the same picture you saw at the Hellenic Center with the first bride and groom with the wash lighting. This is just from a different angle because I actually had to go all the way on the other side of the dance floor to shoot the fog. It allowed me to do that with the rolling cart. The rolling cart is real important. If you're going to purchase a Nimbus, save your money as well and purchase your own rolling cart. If you don't, you want to do it from scratch, I have some great videos online you can look at, totally free. Ways to create your own like anvil style ones, or anything. You could even use the 55-gallon drum trash cans. You know how they have those little lock-in kind of wheels? Put a piece of plywood on that, maybe Velcro it to it. Something to get it around, okay? Don't just leave it at the edge of the dance floor, okay? Because it might have issues, not the fogger have issues, just the atmosphere and everything else. You want to try to avoid that, and you're prepared, right? So you know these things. It's really important. A few vertical trusses, cloud. We're doing breakup patterns on the dance floor to make it real pretty. We've got some butterflies in the back, and they're really happy, right? Change it up a little bit.